Welcome everybody to Metal Gear Solid, the Master. And the cool thing about the Master Collection is that not only do you get standard Solid, but you get VR missions, which was basically it's supposed to be
is also Solid.
Well, VR missions is technically like a separate game, but it's literally just like a lot of challenge levels. That's all VR missions is, and I think. Yeah. Special missions originally released in '99. VR training sold primarily in Europe, so special missions like the European version, and then Integral is I think the Japanese. Yeah, originally released in Japan. So I'm not sure exactly what the difference between Integral and the standard game is. I'd probably have to look it up, or somebody hopefully can tell me who knows more can tell me in the comments. And until then, I'm gonna start the game.
I'm guessing none of that came through.
I sounded like you were talking with somebody else for a little bit.
Nope, okay, none of it came through. That's unfortunate. I slammed my head into my fucking desk because I'm the only one home.
Oh.
And then I said my desk is solid.
Oh. I think I did hear
solid.
that.
Yeah.
The other nice thing is getting off the MSX and going on the PS1. Get nice graphics.
I don't know if I'd say nice as much as you get graphics.
Yeah. Well, there is actually something.
The weapons disposal facility on Shadow Moses Island in Alaska's Fox Archipelago was attacked and captured by Next Generation Special Forces, being led by members of Foxhound. They're demanding that the government turn over the remains of Big Boss, and they say that if their demands are not met within 24 hours, they'll launch a nuclear weapon. You'll have two mission objectives.
Yeah, David
First,
Hayter.
you'll rescue DARPA Chief Donald Anderson and the president of Armstech, Kenneth Baker. Both are being held as hostages. Secondly, you're to investigate whether or not the terrorists have the ability to make a nuclear strike and stop them if they do.
What's the insertion method?
We'll approach the disposal facility by sub.
And then?
We'll launch a one-man SDV. After the SDV gets as close as it can, dispose of it. From there on, you'll have to swim. High-Tech Special Forces Unit Foxhound. Your former unit, and one that I was a commander of.
So they're still around.
There are 6 members of Foxhound involved in this terrorist activity. Psycho Mattis, with his powerful psychic abilities. Sniper Wolf, the beautiful and deadly sharpshooter. Decoy Octopus, master of disguise. Vulcan Raven, giant and shaman.
Wouldn't it be Shaman?
Revolver Ocelot,
Yeah, it is.
specialist in interrogation.
That's just not knowing how to
Formidable
pronounce it.
gunfighter. And finally, in charge of them, Foxhound squad leader, Liquid Snake.
Liquid
I was
Snake.
actually about to say Flaccid Snake, and that would have been way too funny.
The nuclear weapons disposal facility covers the whole island. I'll instruct you by codec after you reach your target.
Anyone going with me?
As usual, this is a one-man infiltration mission.
Weapons and equipment OSP?
Yes, this is a top-secret black op. Don't expect any official support.
Bare legs.
Yes, I was looking at the model of the legs. It was like, man, the fact this is on like a lot more powerful system than it was back in the day makes me think of memes I saw where like somebody compared like old game graphics on a CRT to an HD TV, and it's like, yeah, some of those games were made to accommodate for a CRT, so the graphics actually looked better on the CRT than on the HD because you couldn't see the pixels and whatnot. Just like on this, you can see the polygons.
Yeah, some games add the CRT effect type of stuff.
Yeah.
Two things. Just to help counteract, yeah, that.
Yep.
Square legs.
Alright, before we go into the game, we gotta do the briefing. It would be sacrilege not to do the briefing.
It's been a long time, Snake.
I should have known you were behind this, Colonel.
That's no way to greet an old war buddy, Snake.
What do you want from me?
I just invited you here so we could have a talk.
Invited? That's what you call sending armed soldiers after me?
Sorry if they were a little rough with you.
I like the attention to detail that you can slightly see Snake's mouth move in the cutscene
I'm
here.
retired from Foxhound. You're not my commander anymore, and I don't have to take orders from you or anyone else.
You will take these orders. I know it.
Also, a little something attention to detail to note here. Snake's hair.
Naomi Hunter. She's chief of Foxhound's medical staff.
I will elaborate at a later time.
Military?
No, civilian. I've been sent here from ATGC. Pleasure to meet you, Snake. Don't worry, this injection won't hurt a bit.
What's the shot for?
What's wrong? You don't like shots?
Depends on what you're putting in
It all
him.
went down 5 hours ago. Heavily armed soldiers occupied Shadow Moses Island, a remote island off the coast of Alaska.
What soldiers?
Next
Snake is
generation
straight.
special
You don't like
forces
stuff being put in
led
him.
by members of Unit Foxhound. They've presented Washington with a single demand, and they say that if it isn't met, they'll launch a nuclear weapon.
A nuclear weapon?
I'm afraid so. You see, the island is the site of a secret nuclear weapons disposal facility.
Foxhound hijacking a nuclear weapon?
Now you understand how serious the situation is. You'll have two mission objectives. First, you're to rescue the DARPA chief, Donald Anderson, and the president of Arms Tech, Kenneth Baker. They're both being held as hostages.
Those are some heavy-duty hostages.
Secondly, you're to investigate whether or not the terrorists have the ability to launch a nuclear strike, and stop them if they do. Any questions, Snake?
Questions? I haven't even said whether I'd accept this mission.
Well, you can make up your mind after you hear more about the situation.
Tell me about the nuclear weapon
I
disposal.
hope you're just ready to sit here and watch cutscenes.
Hardened underground base. Even with our most advanced intelligence gathering equipment, we can't tell what's happening inside.
So someone needs to penetrate, gather
Days
intelligence, and
never
report back. Sounds like
finished,
a spy
mess
movie.
got me
What's the
working.
insertion method?
Well, an air insertion is impossible.
Not with this storm going on.
We'll approach the disposal facility by sub.
Approach.
Yes, within a few miles of it. The facility is equipped with sonar detection capabilities. They'd be able to hear our engine or propeller noise.
And then
We'll launch a one-man SDV.
launch.
Same as a torpedo, only this has no propulsion device of its own. After the SDV gets as close as it can, dispose of it. From there on, you'll have to swim.
You want me to swim in sub-zero Alaskan water?
Don't
Yes.
worry. That suit represents the latest advances in polythermal technology. The
Latest
nuclear
advancement
weapons
in
disposal facility
2005,
covers the whole island.
because that's when this is
I'll instruct you
supposed
by
to take
codec
place.
how to reach your target.
Anyone going with me?
As usual, this is a one-man infiltration mission.
Weapons and equipment OSP?
Yes, this is a top-secret black op. Don't expect any official support.
Intro, but with slightly more dialogue.
Well, to be fair, we watched the intro, and technically this is optional, but it's just something that is just like, you can't really, it's something that everyone does that is like, you can't just jump straight in. It's almost like playing Mega Man X and you don't pick Chill Penguin first. That is just sacrilege. You always pick Chill Penguin first.
What's the time limit?
24 hours. They
So
say
what
they'll
I'm hearing
launch
is I
after
would definitely
24
perform
hours.
sacrilege multiple times in multiple different
They
games
say
because
what
I
the
wouldn't give a
target
crap.
will be. So far, they
Probably.
haven't mentioned the target.
When did the countdown start?
5 hours ago.
So you have 19 hours.
Colonel, who are you speaking for?
Naturally, I'm representing the U.S. government.
So who's in supervisory control of this operation?
The President of the United States.
Which means that the President must be meeting with his top aides in the map room about now, huh?
No, at this point, they're still video conferencing with each other.
If that's a real nuclear warhead, shouldn't they issue a COG?
Not yet. The Secretary of Defense has operational control and is fully aware of the situation. After you infiltrate, if you determine they possess nuclear launch capabilities, a COG will be issued.
Well, if they haven't relocated to the nuclear shelter under Mount Washington, I suppose there isn't that much reason to worry yet. Is the National Security Agency in on this?
Yes. So is the DIA, the Defense Intelligence Agency.
The DIA? I'm starting to get a bad feeling about this.
They'll be sending us some support.
We don't need desk jockeys. We need a nuclear weapons specialist.
Of course. A nuclear weapons specialist has already been assigned to us.
We need backup from a specialist. I'm just an amateur when it comes to nuclear weapons.
Even though you took it out like 2 Metal
That's
Gears
why I
prior.
requested the assistance of a military analyst named Nastasha Romanenko. She'll be providing you backup by Kodak.
A female analyst?
She's built up an impressive record as an advisor for the Nuclear Emergency Search Team. Contact her if you have any questions. She's also an expert on high-tech weapons.
Where's she working from?
At her home in Los Angeles.
California. Seems like a million miles away.
– 2005 California, I feel like I should add. So, it ain't as bad as nowadays.
You're retired. Why are you involved in this?
Because there aren't many people
No,
who
it's
know
California.
Foxhound as well as I
Yeah.
do.
It's a
Is that
city.
really the
I've been soldiering for a long time.
Eh,
I
it's
don't know
still
anything.
California.
I guess even though I'm getting a little old, I still love to be in the field.
Colonel, you're a lousy liar. Tell me the real reason.
Okay, Snake. Sorry. I'll be frank. A person very dear to me is being held hostage.
Who is it?
My niece, Meryl.
Bullshit, you're not being frank, Colonel.
I'm Frank. You can't be Frank.
Well, no, because like, yeah, in this game, like, Campbell says that Meryl is his niece, but apparently, like, that's not actually the case. Like, Meryl's actually, like, his daughter. Why? I forget the reason why,
What was
the
your
dumb
niece
reason
doing
why
there?
he says that that's her
Several
niece, but
soldiers were reported missing the day of the revolt.
there's a lot of
My niece is
interesting
one of those
BS
called
that goes on in these
emergency
games,
replacement.
as we've already experienced with 2 games.
She looks like you.
She's my little brother's girl. He died in the Gulf War.
How
And I've
convenient.
been watching after her.
How
Motive,
convenient.
Colonel. That's not very soldierly.
I'm retired. I'm just an old man now. And I'm your friend.
Has
Since when
been
are
received
we
psychotherapy
I've
to
thought of us as
be
friends since
not
the
to be
fall of
attracted to
Zanzibar.
those of the opposite sex. More
My
bullshit.
personality, I don't have too many friends.
That's what I trust about you. It's what makes you human. Please, Snake. Save my niece, Meryl.
All right. But I have 2 conditions.
Name them.
1, no more secrets between us. I want complete disclosure at all times. And 2, I'll only accept orders directly from you, Colonel. No
Oh.
cutoffs involved, okay?
Well, you're only gonna get one of those promises.
Agreed. That's why I was called. But one thing,
What?
I'm not a colonel anymore. Just a retired old warhorse.
I understand. Colonel. That doctor, is she part of this operation too?
She was in charge of Foxhound's gene therapy. She knows more about those men than anyone else.
You mean you've seen them naked?
Make no mistake, I'm not a nurse. I'm a scientist.
By the way, what was that injection for?
It's a combination of nanomachines and an anti-freezing peptide so that your blood and other bodily fluids don't freeze, even at subarctic temperatures.
Ah, yes.
Not just
Nanomachines.
one kind, either. There are different
that ends
types
well.
which will replenish the supply of food, nutrition and sugar in your bloodstream.
Now I don't have to worry about food.
I also put some nootropics in there.
Say what?
Nootropics. A class of drugs which will help improve your mental functioning.
It'll make me smarter, huh? Anything else?
Yes. Benzedrine. It's a type of stimulant. It'll keep you alert and responsive for 12 straight hours.
That was quite a cocktail. Anything else in there?
Those nanomachines will also keep your Codex batteries charged up.
I guess I can call you when I'm ready to go on a diet.
You're welcome.
Doesn't really look like you need to go on a diet, though.
No. Definitely not.
The chief of DARPA and the president of an arms manufacturing company. What business did they have at a nuclear weapons disposal facility?
The truth is that secret exercises were being conducted at the time the terrorist group attacked.
Must be extremely important exercises if those two were directly involved. Were they testing some kind of new advanced weapon?
I'm not privy to that information.
Do we know exactly where they're being held?
The DARPA chief has also been injected with the mini transmitter. As you get closer,
I mean,
you
given
should
it was
be able to pick up its
2005, they
location
were
on your radar.
probably doing illicit substances.
Yeah, probably.
Because a lot more substances were illicit then than they are now.
Surprisingly.
The ability to launch a nuclear missile?
Yeah.
They say they do. They even gave us the serial number of the warhead they plan to use.
Was the number confirmed?
I'm afraid so. At the very least, they've got their hands on a real nuclear warhead.
Isn't there some kind of safety device to prevent this type of terrorism?
Yes. Every missile and warhead in our arsenal is equipped with a PAL, which uses a discrete detonation code.
PAL.
Permissive Action Link. The safety
Uses a
control
discrete
system built
detonation
into all
code,
nuclear
1, 2,
weapon
3, 4.
systems.
Yeah.
But even so, we can't rest easy.
Why not?
Because the
It's so
DARPA chief
stupid, they'll
knows the
never think of it.
detonation Code.
But even if
You were
had
close,
a
actually. It's
nuclear
4, 3, 2,
warhead,
1.
It must have been used from its missile.
That'll
All
really
missiles
trick
from
'em.
these disposal sites are supposed to be
Because they'll never think it. The countdown is actually the
Get your hands
code.
on an ICBM.
That used to be true. But since the end of the Cold War, you can get anything if you have enough money and the right connections.
I hate to say that he's not wrong.
I mean, even before the Cold War, during the Cold War, I mean, you look what the CIA did. That was money and connections.
Yep.
How well armed are these terrorists? I know there was an exercise going on at the time they revolted.
They're heavily armed, I'm afraid.
What about their battle experience?
The 6 members of Foxhound in charge are all hardened veterans. They're tough enough to eat nails and ask for seconds.
I wouldn't expect anything less from Foxhound.
The others are next-generation special forces. They're not your average grunts either.
Okay. I would say elaborate, but I see the next tape's going to be about the next generation soldiers.
So what exactly are they demanding?
A person's remains.
Remains?
That's right. To be more accurate, cell specimens which contain the individual's genomic information.
Cell specimens? Why would they want that?
The terrorists need them. You see, these next-generation special forces have been strengthened through gene therapy.
Strengthened?
You've heard of the Human Genome Project. They've been mapping the human genome, and they're nearly finished. Following up on this research, the military has been working towards identifying those genes which are responsible for making effective soldiers.
There are genes that do that?
Yes, And using gene therapy, they're able to transplant those genes into regular soldiers.
Gene therapy?
I'll explain this part. With gene therapy, we can remove those genes which we know may lead to sickness or disease, and at the same time splice in genes with beneficial effects, such as resistance to cancer, for example.
In other words, we can overcome all sorts of genetic diseases, and at the same time add genetic characteristics as desired.
Okay. And so if you knew what genes were responsible for making the perfect soldier, you could implant them in the same way, right?
And to think with the fact that you figured out gene therapy, of course you would use them on soldiers and not try to figure out how to use them for the everyday person.
America.
America! Fuck yeah!
Yeah.
Coming again to save the motherfucking day, yeah!
One of the greatest soldiers ever?
The man they call the greatest warrior of the 20th century.
You don't mean Big Boss.
That's right. We've been working feverishly to identify the genes responsible for his incredible combat skill. So far, we've discovered about 60 of the so-called soldier genes.
So his body was recovered after all.
Yes, and his cells have remained frozen.
My joke is so bad for that.
Do it.
Genomic information is a
It's
priceless
just a
treasure
drawer
to
full of
mankind.
different pants. He's got Levi's, he's got Wranglers. I mean, we got 12 of them so far.
You people are amazing. And then you're gonna transplant those genes into
I was
soldiers?
honestly just gonna comment, like, oh, his remains are still out there after I burn him to a crisp?
The strongest soldiers
Yeah.
don't become what they are by acquiring their skills through training.
Just, I heard his soldier jeans. I'm like, his pants, his soldier pants ones, he would work. We found 12 of them.
Snake.
I don't know why.
Give them his body. It's potentially more dangerous than all the nuclear warheads on that island put together.
I hear the terrorists are calling themselves the Sons of Big Boss.
Funny.
Sons of Big Boss.
That's what they want to be.
You'll understand why I say it's funny later.
Tell me about these next generation special forces.
They started out as an anti-terrorist special ops unit, made up of former members of biochem units, technical escort units, and the nuclear emergency search team. Their purpose was to respond to threats involving next-generation weapons of mass destruction, including NBC weapons.
Until they were added, that is.
Who's they?
These guys didn't start out as regular army.
Looks like a pretty international group. Mercenaries?
Yeah, and it gets worse. Most of them were from a merc agency that I think you're familiar with. They were part of Big Boss's private guard. And after Big Boss went down, the military just bought out all their contracts.
Outer heaven.
After that, they were merged with our own VR unit, Force 21, and retrained. If you ask me, these so-called next-generation special forces should be called simulated soldiers. They have no real battle experience.
Nope, just
Video
VR.
game players, huh?
Don't forget they've all been strong.
I take offense to that. Not really.
Genes which make them excellent soldiers. Don't get careless.
On the other hand, according to the War Thunder forums, you're lying.
Thought using
You see,
genetically
the
modified
T-34
soldiers was
actually...
by international law.
Yes.
I was gonna say, it's like,
the War
I...
Thunder is close thing to that.
Yeah. I was gonna say, it's like, I'm thankful that I actually took, like, a hunter safety course and at least know how to properly operate my frickin' hunting rifle that I got.
Yeah, low-key, I think that should be a requirement. Like the hunter safety rifle safety stuff, of course, should be a requirement for just owning a gun in the U.S. It isn't. It should be. Just being honest.
I figured at least a, like, weapon safety course. It doesn't necessarily have to be a hunter safety course.
Well, no, I'm just saying the hunter's one gives you, like, the most basic weapon safety. I'm saying, like, you remove all the hunter's part, and you just do the, like, hey, when you carry the gun, depending on how you're carrying it and who you're around, don't fucking point it at somebody.
Yep.
They're calling it a revolution.
Since they all went through the same gene therapy, they probably felt closer than brothers. They see the unit as their only family.
The Sons of Big Boss. But if they were regular army, they must have been interviewed periodically by army counselors.
According to their files, they all got straight A's on their psychological tests. They all seemed like fine, upstanding, patriotic soldiers.
But they all took part in the
None of them
exercise?
are gonna get
No,
PTSD.
several people didn't show up on the day of the exercise. That's why there was a resupply of troops.
Was there any sign recently that something might be wrong?
There was a report a month ago that they were acting strangely.
Apparently they consulted classified information about the soldier genes and performed their own gene therapy experiments.
They can do that even without you?
Well, our gene therapy process is almost completely automated. And besides that, they're all geniuses with IQs over 180.
Even the existence of this genome army is a national secret of the highest order. We've been hoping to investigate this thing quietly and deal with it behind closed doors.
Alright, unless there's more after this, this should be the last one. Unit Foxhound.
Oh, goodness.
Tech Special Forces Unit Foxhound. Your former unit,
When do we
one
get
that
to
I
the
was
game?
an elite group combining firepower and expertise. They're every bit as good as when I was commanding them.
So they're still around.
There are 6 members of Foxhound involved in this terrorist activity. Psycho Mantis, with his powerful psychic abilities. Sniper Wolf, the beautiful and deadly sharpshooter. Decoy Octopus, master of disguise. Vulcan Raven, giant and shaman. And Revolver Ocelot, specialist in interrogation and a formidable gunfighter.
Fuck him in
Looks like a
particular.
bunch of folks. Too bad we'll be meeting under these circumstances.
And finally, in charge of them, Foxhound's squad leader, Liquid Snake.
Liquid Snake?
Yes. And you're the only person who can stand against him.
Hmm.
As you see, his snake is solid when you sword fight. Works better.
Liquid Snake.
No, you're good. that was
Man
good.
with the same code name as you.
Tell me what you know.
Alright, so let's see if this actually adds
Fought in the
anything.
Gulf War as a teenager,
Okay, this does.
the youngest person in the SAS. His job was to track down and destroy mobile Scud missile launching platforms. You were there too, I believe. Didn't you infiltrate Western Iraq with a platoon of Green Berets?
I was just a kid myself back then.
The details are classified, but it seems that originally he penetrated the Middle East as a sleeper for the SIS.
After all my
He's a
dick
spy
jokes
for
and
the
we get the
British
word
Secret Intelligence
penetrated?
Service?
Okay.
He never once showed his face in Century House. He was taken prisoner in Iraq, and after that there was no trace of him for several years. After you retired, he was rescued and became a member of Foxhound.
I thought that by the time I left, they were no longer using code names.
I don't know his real name.
Eli.
Information is so highly classified that even I can't look at it. Here's a photo of him. Pretty shocking, huh? His skin tone is different, but otherwise you two are exact duplicates.
I have a twin?
I don't know the details, but it seems so. That's why we really need you for this mission.
You're the only one who can beat him. Now that I've met you, I know. You've got something that he doesn't. I can see it in your eyes.
Why don't I find that thought more comforting?
Yeah. You more so find that out in Metal Gear Solid 5, but yeah, Liquid Snake's name is Eli. Because funnily enough, in Metal Gear Solid 5, as you're playing as Big Boss in that game, you have some missions where you have to deal with the little shit stain. Because he is a little shit stain in that game. Alright.
Sounds great.
I need to borrow your scissors.
What are you going to do?
Don't worry, just gonna clean myself up a little.
Huh?
With scissors?
I don't want to be mistaken
Oh,
for
haircut.
the leader of the terrorists.
Haircut and,
A shave.
I don't know if he actually... I think he does shave. Yeah, he does shave because of the model, but, he also dyes his hair.
Hmm.
Because as you saw, like he's blonde, but when you get in, he's gonna have brown hair on the model and whatnot. And he cuts his hair and dyes his hair so he doesn't look like, doesn't get mistaken as liquid. All right, now all we gotta do is start a new game. In the next video, thank you everybody for coming by to watch this. We really appreciate y'all. Know the deal with the outro, like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already. I hope y'all will return to the next video. Until then, everybody have a good day.